Welcome to Developer Roadmaps. Today, we're going to tackle a topic that's, well, a cornerstone of pretty much all modern JavaScript development, the NPM ecosystem. Let's really map out what it is and why it's something you absolutely need in your toolkit.
To really get why NPM is such a big deal, we kind of have to take a trip back in time. Before tools like NPM came along, adding a simple library to your project, well, it was a total mess, a manual, error-prone process. And what we have now, it's not just an improvement, it's a completely different world. Okay, so think of this as a checkpoint on your developer journey. Picture this. You find a cool library you want to use. You have to hunt down its website, manually download a .js file, drag it into your project folder, and then carefully add a script tag to your HTML. And the worst part? You had to just hope you put the script tags in the right order. Oh, and updates? Yeah, you had to do that whole dance all over again. It was painful and super fragile, and you really have to feel that pain to get why what came next was so important.
So what's the solution to all that chaos? Well, it's this thing called NPM, which stands for Node Package Manager, and it's basically the answer to all those problems. It's the default package manager for Node.js, and get this, it's the largest software registry on the entire planet. When you break it down, NPM is really two things. First, it's this gigantic online library, like a huge digital warehouse full of code that other developers have written and shared. And second, it's a simple command line tool that you use on your own computer to go into that warehouse, grab the code you need, and manage it in your project. That's it. So, how do you get started? It's actually a really clear path. The first step on this roadmap is just to install Node.js. And the cool thing is, NPM comes bundled right with it. After that, it's as simple as opening your terminal, going to your project folder, and running a couple of commands to get everything set up. Let's walk through it together.
All right, so once you're in your project folder, the very first command you're going to type is npm init. What this does is it kicks off this little interactive process. It'll ask you a few simple questions about your project, like its name, the version you're starting with, a quick description, that kind of stuff.
And what does that command create? It creates this absolutely crucial file called package.json. You really can think of it as your project's map and its manifest, all rolled into one. It becomes the single source of truth for everything about your project, what it is, what it needs to run, and how anyone else can use it. So let's peek inside this package.json file. It's not just a bunch of boring metadata. Sure, it has your project's name and version, but it also holds custom scripts you can run for things like testing or building your app. And most importantly, this is where it keeps a list of every single outside package your project depends on. Okay, let's put it into action. We're going to install our first package. Remember that whole manual download nightmare? Forget it. Now, all we do is run one simple command, npm install moment. And boom. NPM automatically reaches out to that giant online library, finds the moment package, downloads it into a special folder called node.modules, and, this is the best part, it automatically updates our package.json for us. And this right here, this is where the magic really happens. If you look at your package.json now, you'll see that Moment is listed as a dependency, right down to the specific version. Why is this such a game changer? Because now, any other developer on your team or anyone in the world can grab your code, run just one command, npm install, and they will get the exact same setup you have. No more, it works on my machine errors because of different library versions. It's just solved. So now that the package is installed, what do? You just go into your JavaScript file and you can import it and use it, just like that, using the modern import syntax. It's so much cleaner and way more obvious what your code is using, compared to just hoping a global variable exists from some random script tag. Okay, but this brings us to the next common hurdle, a real checkpoint on the developer roadmap. We've got this beautiful, clean import statements in our code. So what happens when we just open our HTML file in a web browser? Does it just work? Nope. You're almost certainly going to see an error. And the reason is actually pretty important. For security, web browsers are sandboxed. They don't have permission to just poke around your computer's file system. They can't just reach into that node_modules folder and grab the files. It's a security feature, not a bug. So how do we solve this? Well, this is where the final piece of the puzzle clicks into place. We need a tool called a module bundler. You've probably heard of tools like Webpack, or maybe more modern ones like Vite. What these tools do is they act as a bridge. They read your developer-friendly code with all its import statements, and they stitch everything together into a single file that the browser can understand. So let's place this on our roadmap to see the whole workflow. A bundler is kind of like a super smart compiler for the web. It starts at your main JavaScript file and it follows every single import like a trail of breadcrumbs. It pulls in the code you wrote, it pulls in the code from Node modules, and it combines everything into one single, optimized JavaScript file that any browser can run without any problems. The result is pretty amazing. Your project, which might have dozens or even hundreds of dependencies under the hood, suddenly looks incredibly simple to the browser. Your HTML file just needs one single script tag pointing to that final bundle.js file. That's it. It's clean, it's efficient, and it's fast.
So let's zoom out. What's the big takeaway here? It's that NPM isn't just some helpful utility. It is the foundation that the entire modern JavaScript ecosystem is built on. Without NPM providing a way to share and manage all this code, these powerful bundlers and frameworks, well, they just couldn't exist. Really getting this workflow down, from installing a package with NPM to bundling it for the browser, is a fundamental checkpoint for any serious JavaScript developer. Once you master this, you unlock the ability to tap into that huge universe of open source code. It lets you build bigger, better, and more professional applications, way more efficiently. All right, that wraps up our tour of the NPM ecosystem. I hope this helps clarify how all these pieces fit together, because understanding this workflow really is a major milestone. This is Developer Roadmaps. Map your path, build your career.